Hello YouTube, bringing you here another one of my videos. Today I'm going to be showing you how I managed to get my R2 and L2 buttons to work on my PlayStation Vita's trigger grips. Everything's internally, and basically this mod was to make it easier for remote play. So the L2 and the R2 buttons that are usually located around this area, as well as the R2 and the L3 buttons that are in the lower quadrants of the area, are really sensitive when you're playing remote play. So my solution was to add some buttons to my triggers, because my triggers are less sensitive when you're actually playing with them. To do that, I had to add some little strips of foil underneath it, which are conductive and allow for your body resistance to go through and make the Vita think that you're actually touching in those areas. They're connected by a small little wire that's folded around them, and that little wire goes right to the tip. That tip is basically a big solder ball on the wire that's been flattened down to really the paper thinness, and then it's been cut and trimmed to make a square instead of like a really ugly blob. It's all hidden underneath the skin pretty well. Let me see if I can peel it back. The main reason why I'm doing this video is because I got a new skin and I'm about to change it around. And quite frankly, when I managed to get it all on there, even though it's concealed and you can't really see it at far, but I don't like how the ripples ended up. And that was basically because I had this skin on here for so long, and I'm also in cold weather, so when I pulled it off, I didn't really warm it up. But it does look nice. Everything works. The skin still works through it, as well as with the contacts in their place. I can still touch above it and it still transmits through. But I wanted something a little bit nicer. I want it to look nicer. I don't want the little wrinkles itself, even though you can't really tell it from a far distance, but with the glare and in person, I guess, seeing it in front, you can really tell. I finally got my other skin, and for the back, instead of the carbon fiber, I want to go with a nice diamond plate. Most of my skins I always get them from Decal Girl. They got really good skins. They last forever. They really don't leave any glue residue behind, and they got all kinds of different designs that you can choose from. So yeah, basically I'm going to swap it out, and with the diamond plate, hopefully that color will blend in a little bit more and you won't be able to tell the contacts as much. So when it comes down to the controller, on the inside of the controller, what I do like is that I managed to retain everything on the top part. So the grip has got some screws underneath. In this case, I already removed them. And there's 1, 2 there, and 3 and 4. Alright, once you take those screws off, the whole top of the top plate kind of comes off. Everything is basically contained in this top part. So basically, underneath it, there was basically a small little gap in there. Let me see if the camera can focus in there really good. But as you can see, just perfect space to actually get a small little, what's called a Tact switch. And I picked these up at Radio Shack locally. I actually work with electronics, so I had quite a few leftovers. That's soldered to a small little wire. The gauge is 30 gauge. It's super tiny so that it won't pinch or really snag anything. And then there's on the other contact of the switch, there's another wire that comes out. I drilled some holes and ran it along the whole side and to the other side. And basically I ran a lot because I was going to add another set of switches down at the bottom. However, with these switches at the top, the L3 and R3 really aren't that much of a problem with the grip, so I'm leaving it as it is right now. And basically, yeah, the nice thing is that it's all in the top portion. Once you actually have it in there and everything is done, the really kind of tricky and important part is getting your contacts to line up. So I have a little piece of wire in there. I'm going to drill another hole to make it a little loop so it's in the same spot every time. Right now it's still loose. And on the grip itself, I had to grind a little bit down here, just giving it a little oval shape, because when not, it would actually pinch the wire and cause a little pressure point, so sometimes it would trigger, it wouldn't. But with a little grinding here on the side, or a little filing down so that the wire is actually in there without any pressure, and it's been good to go since. And so yeah, basically, once you get the wire in their positioned right, and in my case I was fortunate that the skin left me some marks of the case in itself, so I know exactly where I wanted to put my contact points. I put them in a position where they really wouldn't bother when the Vita is out, and it still keeps it nice and portable, so I can still put it in my pocket, carry it around. And when I'm at home, or if I want to do a remote play out of home, all I need is the grips. Fit in there nicely good. The buttons stuck out a little bit more when I first put them on there. I cut them down a little bit, trimmed them down so that they'd be a little bit closer. And I also made some little caps to go on top of them. And I made some little skull caps, which go with the whole theme of the whole Vita itself, because I've got it coordinated to go with the Bluetooth speaker that I have. They both kind of have a little skull and bones theme, I guess. So yeah, I really like how this turned out. Experimenting with colors for my joysticks. Right now, this seems to be what works best. I've tried painting them with different types of paints, and the rubber doesn't seem to really take very well. And so yeah, triggers have been painted as well. So yeah, the wires really actually stretch it on the side so that whenever you're actually holding it at any given point, you're always touching it and making ground contact. And that ground contact is what is transferred from the switch right to the back R2 or the L3 area, or vice versa, whichever way I got it backwards. And so yeah, once I get that skin updated, that'll probably be it for a while, and I'll try and make an update with all the little finishing touches that I've done to it. So right now, I guess that's it. That's all I got to show you. Hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks for watching.